curious ships.
Okay, so here, this first photo is just from, I'm standing actually on the platform, like the stage where the speakers were, and this is just the crowd. Like, this is looking down, what's the street name again? Wellington?
Yes.
Yeah, and you could see that there were a lot of people. Here you've got a guy just yelling with a sign behind him that says "Control," and this photo to me is like that cathartic scream where people were just letting it out. They've been bottled in for so long. You know, like a couple times people like started singing the Canadian national anthem, just like people started to chant, you know, freedom, freedom, just like spontaneously, right?
You used the word elated before, and like I'm looking at this guy's face.
His
too
face
on
is
set.
just like, you know what I
Staring
mean?
into the sun, like, yeah.
But the biggest kinds of smiles, you know?
Yeah.
Again, you really get a sense of how many people were there. Just to give you guys a background of what techniques I'm using right now. So I was using a super wide angle lens so that I could just capture a lot at once. And I also had a flash in my hand. Very old school style. If you remember, it was like, you know, Dick Tracy style. You see like the photographer holds a flash and goes, like you said.
Yeah, those bulbs that explode.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So that's what I was doing. And that's why you get this nice flash of light, because otherwise it would be very dark.
Yeah.
And also you'll see with some of the portraits and the speakers, it really highlights them. But again, that wide angle look is going to give you this distortion, which I wanted. You know, I usually don't shoot like this. I shoot more telephoto, more like individual portrait style, but I wanted to get a sense of the fullness and the closeness.
Nice.
This is one of those spontaneous dance circles, right? So people were just dancing and just enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
This is like actually on Parliament grounds.
I love that photo too, the sun in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is something that you can't do if you don't have flash. So the reason why the sun's here and he's well lit is because I have flash. Otherwise, there'd be a silhouette. He would be dark.
It's true. It looks almost like it looks almost fake. Like it looks like he's like photoshopped in.
Yeah. That
sticking out.
Make sure you're on the mic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pop.
Yeah.
that's actually what I wanted. Almost this cartoonish feel. These big, bright, bold colors. Yeah, so that's why I use this setup. Again, here, this is the Parliament grounds. It's just full of people. You know, signs saying things like "Stand up for your rights," "Freedom is our birthright," "Freedom for all."
Thank you.
Thank you, truckers. You know, like really, the overwhelming message was, like you said, togetherness, community, and freedom.
Yeah. Well, you know, everyone has their individual reasons why they're there.
Sure,
But
sure.
that vibe that you kept talking about is this sentiment of just we want our lives back in some sense. We want what was taken from us that shouldn't be taken from us back. And that's kind of what's being illustrated here.
So related to that, walking through the crowd, and so I've been to a few protests in the past. My wife, this was her first one. She turns to me at one point. She's like, "It's so funny. Every time I ask someone if I could pass, they just look at me and smile. Every time we got bumped by someone, just even lightly, they would turn to you and say, 'Are you okay? I'm really sorry. Are you fine? Are you good?' Like everybody." And again, I think it was to go against all the hype that the media had been trying to build with, 4 days of it's going to be violent, it's going to be violent. I think everybody was, on their best behavior. On purpose. We're very Canadian, very polite, right? And so you have all this positive energy. You have, people who, like I said, are, happy to be outside, but they're still being polite. They're still letting you pass. Yeah. They're happy to let you go in front, It did not take me that long to go from the back of the crowd to on stage.
Wow.
Like a concert. Like everyone's very aware of the danger of a crowd. if you
Sure, sure. And there's a few. I mean, there's a photo here. So right here, I climbed up onto this logging truck, and it was actually pretty freaky. And I used to rock climb, so it's not like I'm necessarily like the worst
Right.
person to be climbing or afraid of heights. But you know, there's a sense of chaos in the air. You know, you've got like 30, 40 people stacked on top of these frozen logs that are up like 20 feet in the air.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
And there is some drinking, and you're losing your footing, and it's icy, and there's no rail, but people were helping you up. People were asking, do you want to go down now? Do you want to come up now? Let's make space for everybody. There was chaos, but it was positive. So here there's a girl with a sign that says COVID mandates are anti-science.
She almost looks out of place. Like she looks so happy.
Sure. And the thing is, if you look at what's happening in other parts of the world, they're pulling back on restrictions, while here in Canada and Quebec, we're actually doubling down on some of the restrictions. You know, this unvaccinated tax idea that Legault was floating around, like that is not a good idea.
Officially dead in the water, by the way.
Yes, I saw this morning. Here you've got another woman with a sign that says Trudeau is a dictator, and a shirt that says F Maple Leaf CK Trudeau. So fuck Trudeau.
I don't know if it means fuck though. You can't assume that.
It could mean fack.
Yeah, like a fact.
Fack Trudeau.
This guy looks like Trudeau.
Well,
His
with
fatter brother.
yeah, exactly. So here it's just a black and white photo of these two guys, one with an American flag draped over him, another guy with sunglasses and a camera. And again, like this was the first shot that I took turning my flash on, because again, it's a little bit like I've never been out in a busy crowd with a flash asking people for portraits. I'm really close, by the way. I'm like less than 3 feet away from them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's why they look like they're buildings almost towering back.
Yeah.
That's what you get, the distortion of the wide angle.
Cool.
And so this is like my first shot. I take it, I look at it, I'm like, oh man, this is exactly what I saw.
Nice.
I show them
That's
the photo
great.
and they're like, holy shit, I love it, dude. It looks cartoonish.
Yeah.
But then when you're a little far, it looks really weird. So this is when I realized I need to get on that trailer. This is a Métis guy who went up and he was like, hey, look, I guess we're not all a bunch of white fringe racists, because there was, I mean, yeah, the majority of people were white, but that's just, you know, maybe
Canadian thing? sort of?
maybe it's a Canadian thing. A lot of, you know, truckers might be white, and so then they're overrepresented in who's there. But he was like, look, I've been, you know, speaking with my Métis friends that I'm here with. I've seen women here. It's not just men. I've seen black people, Chinese people, First Nations people. We're all here because we're all Canadian.
Yes.
So she, again, this is with the flash that it really separates them, because otherwise she'd be like that dark.
Is that a horn?
Yeah, so she said it's an Israeli battle horn.
It's a shofar. That's
The
a
thing
massive
is,
shofar.
I don't know, because when I'm taking photos, I'm half listening, and
Yeah.
like my
You're in
main
the zone.
job is
Yeah.
to, yeah, exactly.
It's badass, though.
I want it.
Yeah, we could look it up after
Find
and
this
see
woman.
if that's what it is. Yeah,
Did she play it? Did she like...
she didn't. I thought
Oh.
like at the end she was gonna sort of like end with that, because I was like, oh, this is gonna be sick,
Yeah.
right? But no, she didn't play it in the end.
Very cool though.
Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, I want to photograph some truckers, right? So again, it's peace, right? This is a trucker just coming out of his cab, showing a peace sign, smiling. He was the guy
That's
manning.
a great photo.
Yeah, he's the guy manning the stage. And again, like I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have the flash,
Yeah.
because it'd be so dark in there.
It looks like a
Like, I don't know
painting.
why, but the texture is killing me. It's amazing.
Like all of this
Yeah,
stuff,
but
all
like
of this
that,
stuff.
It just has like this.
Yeah.
this
Extra sharpness.
And the
Yeah.
background's just this window into like chaos, like the
that's a great
signs. And,
photo.
yeah.
Yeah. My brother actually told me that this is his favorite photo, because you just see a man who's there. He is in support of what's going on, and all he wants is his fucking job.
Yeah.
He's just, you know, he's just a common man who wants to fucking provide for himself and his
Absolutely.
family. That's what he's there for. this next photo is a guy in like what looks like the Monopoly Man mask. He's wearing a top hat, and he has this billboard that's made out of the Monopoly money, and it says, "The parasitic elite have a monopoly on your health." So again, there were a lot of different views that were being expressed, and this is kind of ambiguous. Like, what does that mean, right? Is it that he's anti-vaccine, or is he sort of pro other kinds of solutions?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know.
Freedom
So-
wasn't
Freedom wasn't free.
okay.
So a lot of people had costumes, whether they were obvious, like the other guy in the Monopoly suit, or like hers. She's wearing this sort of a jailer costume, black and white stripes. And she was there with her daughter and grandkids, and she was saying that this is about freedom. There were a lot of, probably grandfathers too, but a lot of grandmothers were there. One of them we'll see on stage speaking.
Wow.
And they're like, this isn't for us. This is for our kids and our grandkids. Like, we need to make sure that they don't live in a future where everything is mandated and controlled by the government. Again, a lot of kids were there. They were just making snow forts on Parliament grounds.
Doing what kids would do.
Doing what kids like, playing outside and stuff.
That's awesome. On Parliament grounds. That's good memories.
Yeah. So I took this photo because the guy looks super cool.
He looks like a military dude.
He looks like a military dude. I don't know if
a
he
fighter
necessarily is. Yeah. So he's got these little beady sunglasses, and he's got some camo, and he's sort of right in front of Parliament.
He definitely has an intensity to him.
Yeah.
The cranes help. Like the background's like larger than life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
That's awesome.
And the thing is, yes, like, he represents a majority of people, white, middle-aged men who work outside, whether it's logging, trucking. There were farm trucks that were there too, like
Tractors and stuff. Or
exactly.
Right.
There are tractors that were actually on Parliament, on the street in front of. So these are two guys who have this big sign, and it says in French. Groupe d'action contre le passeport vaccinal, résistance pacifique de l'Estrie, pro-choix, vacciné ou non. So that just roughly translates to, a group that's against the vaccine passports, passive resistance, and there's a picture of both a fist and a piece kind of integrated, and it says pro-choice, vaccinated or not. So he was a Métis man who was there talking about the fact that there's no clean water in a lot of the reserves, and he was happy to pose for me. And this is one of my favorite photos of the whole event because you see his sign. This, I don't know if that's the flag of his tribe or not, but And he was there. He was proud, and he was happy to represent. And he was telling some people who were interviewing him.
Oh, sorry, guys.
That
woke me up.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Again, there are a lot of serious issues going on, and that his people, right, people on reserves, people who are lower income, they're being the worst hit right now with all of these restrictions, with different kinds of businesses having to close or restrict their hours or restrict their capacity. Like, Canada is suffering from the bottom up, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this saying where when the rich sneeze, poor people catch pneumonia, right? Like, this is what's happening right now. It's you've got a huge divide in society, socioeconomically, where the poorest of the poor, who we're saying that we're trying to help, are the ones being affected the most by these mandates, by these restrictions. So this is from inside Parliament grounds. There were people climbing the fence.
Or
and
a boot?
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that the first.
Yeah. So this is a boot here and a boot here because there's people climbing the fence. Yeah, and so this is a truck that had "fuck Trudeau" on it. But okay,
A debatable fuck. It's still, we're not clear.
Feek. But the thing is, this isn't a sticker. This isn't someone who drew it. This is aluminum siding that's replaced
Wow.
on the truck.
He committed.
Yeah.
This is like, this
work.
is serious, right? And I'm really proud of this photo because I had my wife walk away from me towards the truck, hold up the flash, and that's why you're seeing it lit, is because it's being that, like, that's the reflection of the flash. Like, that's why there's this weird look to it, is because she's actually holding flash right next to the photo itself.
Yeah, there's like a shine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, it's a great photo in a lot of ways. I don't want to nerd out, but like, it's amazing, dude.
But like the chaos of like Boots sort of climbing over this fence and
Then a peace sign just to balance the whole
Sure,
equation.
sure, exactly. Yeah, but this is it. Like the protest was extremely chaotic. There's all kinds of things going on, all kinds of different views, all kinds of people going around. But it was peaceful. Like, really, look. No one was arrested. There were no outbreaks of violence. There was no looting, rioting, right? Okay, yes, they defamed the war memorial. They put a stupid shirt on Terry Fox.
The homeless food thing.
Like okay, but like those are three things when there's like over 10,000 people who are mad at the government.
I call that a good turnout.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was happy to be there, but we're all mad at the government one way or another. Like, let's just keep that in mind.
Maybe no booze next time. But it's Canada.
Sure.
It's like,
yeah. So this was the girls just saying, like, guys, we have to remain peaceful, because with that nonviolent attitude, we're gonna win. We have to make sure that this remains peaceful.
for sure she practices yoga. It's just written all over her.
It's possible. So this guy, he's black. He comes up here and he says, the first thing he says is, as you guys can see, I'm black. And then the crowd starts laughing and he starts laughing. He's like, guys, this protest is not a racist protest. Race doesn't enter into this protest. This is about freedom, and that affects everybody. That was his message,
So
right?
where was the reporting on this story?
I don't know, man.
Like,
I don't know.
you know?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you need to be sensational. If there's like you said, like a band of Nazis, I get it. You know,
I
like
get it.
those
But
are a problem.
You can't
Focus
just
on
focus
them.
on one storyline when there's 10,000 plus.
Just to be
It's-
devil's advocate again, though, like apparently, like there's a swath, or maybe like I don't know if it's the pure initial like instigation of the convoy, but apparently a guy organized a lot of it who has like books written and like, you know, like he's like clearly an open white supremacist.
Yes.
So if the money, if the like almost $5 million that was raised is going to him, that's fucked up. In a lot of
Sure.
ways, I don't think the protest needs to be informed by who it started or why it started. It's just bigger than that now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still a question worth talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And who's going to report on this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The like you said, the swaths of people who are just, you know, there for the same reason. It doesn't fucking matter
But
where they come from. Or it does, but it's not necessarily bad if they're white or bad if they're not.
But
know
you
what I
need
mean?
to, as a journalist, you need to address the full story. You can't just narrow down onto one narrative.
Yeah, good luck.
Otherwise,
bro.
that's not journalism.
Funny enough, that's exactly what they're trying to tarnish Joe Rogan's podcast with. It's that he doesn't have enough of both sides, or he doesn't, you know, interview one side one day and the following day have the other perspective right away.
Yeah.
But they're no better, right? Again, I think the story was written a week before the actual protest began. So you're not going to want to tell the story. Look, I had people messaging me and commenting on my post saying exactly what you said. One of the organizers is a white supremacist. Another organizer is part of the PPC. And it's like, okay, is being part of the PPC in itself just an unequivocal wrong? Like, I don't know about that. It's a political party. I don't necessarily know if that's, but the thing is, if as soon as you've equated a certain type of person with absolute evil, then you just have to say that part. And again, like, to me, look, being part of a white supremacist group, I think that's terrible. I think you need to try to inform those kinds of people with why their views are bad. Who was the guy who went on Joe Rogan? He was a jazz musician, and he ended up converting something like 100.
I think it was closer to 300.
Okay, white supremacists. And what did he do?
Members.
Yeah, he spoke to them.
Yeah.
You know, one day someone called him crying, saying like, "You're my friend, and I'm supposed to hate you." I don't know if what I've been doing for years is the right thing, but anyways, the point is like, okay, so the guy, one of the organizers, is part of the PPC. Some people think that's enough to just be like an illegitimate protest. Why? Like, I don't know. Like now it's just we've lowered the bar of racism so low that you can't help but trip over it. You know, this guy is part of the PPC, and that's it. Like, you don't even have to say anything else. You just understand what that means, and he's racist because the party is racist.
I don't remember the exact accusation, but I think the Bernier there, like there was maybe something he said in the past that just doesn't age well, or is possibly blatantly wrong. You know,
Sure.
I don't remember the details, but it's like because he's the leader, and it's like people can't change or whatever. You know, like just these,
but talking about lines, if you keep lowering that rung of racism, eventually it becomes going to a thing like this. You're deemed a racist.
Absolutely.
You know, and this
because this was deemed a racist, misogynist protest.
Yeah.
So she's a Quebecer. She was pissed off at the increasing restrictions, even though things are getting better. More and more people are vaccinated. You've got a less lethal version of COVID now. That's the predominant variant, and she's just like, this has to stop. Yeah. Curfews in Quebec, vaccine tax, like you said, it's not happening, but it was on the table for like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Well, if you think about it, if there was no pushback, it would probably be here today.
True.
You know?
True.
I think it was just to scare people and get the numbers up.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
If people didn't respond to it, because he got a lot of backlash, it would have been here. So that's the power of voicing your opinion to mandates, because if you do nothing, all these things would have been in place.
Sure, exactly. That's the purpose of these protests.
If there was not much talk about the taxes, you would see it tomorrow.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So you have to think about...
You know, his numbers went down, the curfew went away. I'm speculating, but like...
And the health
they also
minister...
stopped testing as much. That was another thing.
And the health minister resigned, what was it, 2 days before the... Was it 2 days before the curfew or the tax?
Tax.
Oh, yeah, the tax. Yeah. One other thing, too, which like people don't seem to realize, right? 100% vaccination rate is an asymptote. What does that mean in math? It means you will not reach it, but you'll simply approach it. And at a certain point, there are diminishing returns to the amount of effort, social coercion, and actual number of people that get vaccinated. Like 90% is an A+ at Concordia. That's pretty good. That's a 4.0.
Wow.
Right? Like 90% is very difficult to achieve. And we got there. And it's going to be extremely difficult to go from 90 to 95, right? We're at a point of diminishing returns. You know what I mean?
Microphone.
Yeah. Anyways, she's a grandmother, and she was the one saying that we need to do this. We need to be here not for ourselves, not for our kids, but for our grandkids.
And at the same time,
there's a sign that says "Fight for our children."
Yeah,
that's pure coincidence.
That's cool.
You know, like sometimes that's just what happens. I think photography is part skill, part luck, and this is a good example
that's
of
phenomenal.
it.
Catching Pokemon, bro.
Yeah, man.
Moments like Pokemon.
And here I just want to get portraits of some of the truckers. And so, you know, he's a young dude, man. I don't know how old this guy is. Like,
he's got to look mid-20s.
20, 25. Like,
yeah.
He's a young dude.
Yeah.
You know, there were a lot of... So he's a trucker, and this is his wife. You know, they came together.
Pulley for freedom.
Yeah, pull for freedom.
Pull.
It's basically she was getting people to pull the horn, and everyone was just going up and pulling the horn and saying thank you. And, you know, there was just this parking lot of trucks and people going from truck to truck thanking them. Wow. And truckers just being grateful. I even saw a woman who was going from truck to truck trying to give the truck drivers money. Like, here's 20, here's 20. And they were like, no, we don't want your money. Not like this. Like they're grateful. Thank you for doing that. But like I want to earn my own living. Do you know what I mean? You know, this is a
I think I saw an interview with him.
Yeah, I saw him on a few outlets too. So he's an Indian truck driver with his whole family, and they're just kind of huddled up there, and yeah, they're all there together.
Very cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of female truck drivers as well. Just it's not. See, I have a lot of ideas on how we got here, where like it's okay to it's okay to throw the white blue collar man under the bus. You know, I don't understand why that's become socially acceptable. And what's really funny is you've got women, you've got ethnic minorities who are also being pulled under the bus with what's going on.
Yeah.
Anyway. This guy just looked like the burliest of lumberjacks ever.
Yeah.
You know, I think he was from Alberta or something, but it's just like, and he was just happy to talk
with
to
that guy.
people. Oh my God. I
smell the
want
barbecue.
pints, pints after pints with this guy. These were two Quebec construction workers. I forget where they said that they were from. I spoke to and met a lot of people, so it's hard for me to remember. But yeah, they were cool, and they were just on the back of their truck,
Nice.
you know, en train de fumer leur cigarette puis boire la Molson.
He's got the cig in the gloves. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I mean, how much more Canadian can you get? Like this could have been, outside of the Bell Center at a Canadians game. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyways, two young guys, and one of them has a Timmy's cup.
Good old Tim Hortons.
Good old Tim Hortons. Again, this was just another speaker. I don't remember what he was saying, but he was a character. You know, I love the fact that he had his sunglasses on and he's got this like rough kind of a demeanor to him.
Yeah.
But
That's a great photo, though. Like
Yeah.
it looks like he's handing you the mic.
well, he
and-
was actually giving me the mic, and I was like, no, I'm not here for that. You know, give it to the person behind.
I love the brightness with the black and white, though. Like just all the black and white pictures look so much.
Yeah.
They pop even
Yeah.
though the color's gone. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I find what's cool too, this is one of the reasons why I love black and white, is there is a certain kind of timelessness to it. It's like clearly, you know, there's like technology in the photo, but this could be 10 years old. This could be 20 years old. I don't know. I really like black and white too, because you're focusing on texture much more, because you don't have color to sort of interfere with.
Yeah, it brings
with-
the medium back down to something. I don't know. I get
Mhm.
what you're saying, though.
Yeah. So this is one of the truckers. He had a big sign on the back that says, "I'm not racist. I am not an extremist. I am Canadian." And this is the thing, is like this was the sentiment. Like all of these people were slandered on national television by their prime minister, calling them all racist, misogynistic, people who hold unacceptable views, and that essentially they are not Canadian. Because if, you know, like, who are you other than your set of ideas? And if you're saying that you don't hold the set of ideas of Canadians, you're basically stripping them of their nationality. You're saying you are not Canadian.
It's basically a form of exile.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like saying get out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't
I
belong
think is that
here.
the
It's-
next step?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Squirrely for sure.
yeah. That's the
Dog tax. Dog
dog.
tax for Nate.
I love it.
Yeah, Argentinian Mastiff, like
Beautiful dog.
beautiful dog.
Yeah.
Loved it. So yeah, that's it. It's a lot less photos than last time. But
Yeah.
what I could do too is I'll give you guys a link to my Facebook post, because I write something with each of the photos, sort of explaining a little bit of what they're looking at, or what people were saying at that point in time, or what I was feeling when I took the photo. So yeah.
I love it, man. Well, thank you for going there, and thank you for your support.
Yeah,
and
we appreciate you, man. It's
Yeah.
fucking... Because, like, you're taking great pictures, but you also have so much energy in like, why and the... I don't know, man. Like, it's just fun talking to you, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I love it.
I really appreciate
It's
it.
always a pleasure to have you here, brother.
Yeah, man. It's the
And-
second time, and it was fun, just
Yeah.
like the first time.
And you know what, everyone, just be kind to each other, because
Mhm.
this is a beautiful depiction of what being kind to each other looks like. You know, many people with different views, different ideas, but coming together in a pretty much, I would say, almost zero crime rate. Pretty much nothing bad happened. There's
Last
a couple
I checked
bad stories.
yesterday, yeah. So
But overall, you know, with the height of anxiety, look at what's out there, and everyone was just vibing together. So we can recreate that again, and we can have a better world. We just got to build towards it again. I don't know how far we got off track, but we can head back there.
we'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. I like that. All right, everyone.
Thanks.
Peace.